Hi class, so today we are going to continue talking about using area models for multiplication. So today we are going to take a minute to review what we discussed yesterday with our area models. So here I have 75 times 8. So as you can see, I have already set up my area model. I have decomposed 75 into my tens, which is 70, and my ones, which is my 5, and I have put my 8 on the other side of my area model. So here in my first box, I would type in what 8 times 70 is. So I know that 8 times 7 is 56. And since I have 7 tens, I know that I need to add a 0 at the end. Here I would put in my 8 times 5, which I know equals 40. And we will make that a little bit bigger for you to be able to see. So here I have my area model completed. Now that I have my area model completed, I need to add up what is inside of my area model. So off to the side here, I am going to add 560 plus 40, keeping in mind that I need to make sure that my place values are lined up correctly so that when I am ready to add, everything is where it needs to be. So adding my zeros together, my ones place, adding my tens place, and then adding my hundreds place. So I know that 75 times 8 equals 600. So now we are going to practice this area model, but instead of with 2-digit numbers by 1-digit numbers, we are going to practice with 3-digit numbers by 1-digit number. So here we have 125 times 4. So like always, I need to take my numbers and I need to decompose them. So here I have 125, so I need to decompose and think about what I have in each place value. I have 100. I have 2 10, so I have 20 in my tens place, and I have a 5 in my ones. I only have a 4 in my ones place. So this is how my area model will be set up. So we are going to do the same thing that we did with our last area model. I'm going to multiply 4 times 100, which will be 400. Then I'm going to multiply 4 times 20, which is 80. And then 4 times 5, which will give me 20. So now that I have my area model completed, I need to add up each number together to get my final product of 125 times 4. So off to the side here again, I'm going to start with my first square and write out my 400. Once again, Starting with my first square, now moving on to my second, I have 80, making sure that my place values are lined up correctly. Taking a look at my third box, I have 20, lining up my place values. Okay, so now that I have everything lined up, I am adding all of these together, starting with my ones, which will give me a 0, 8 plus 2, which gives me 0 tens and 1 100. Adding my hundreds gives me my final product of 125 times 4 equals 500. So let's practice that one more time, multiplying a 3-digit number by a 1-digit number. Okay, so let's practice here with 742 times 8. Here I have decomposed my 742. I have 700. I'm looking at my tens place. I have a 4, which represents 40, and I have a 2 in my ones place, which will represent my 2 here. I have my 8 that I have brought down on my other side, and I have a box for each place value. So take a minute. I want you to think about what will go inside of each box. So we're multiplying 8 times 700, 8 times 40, and 8 times 2. So take a minute. A question will pop up, and I want you to tell me what will go inside of each box. Okay, so we know that 8 times 700 will give me 500, not 560, it will give me 5,600. So I know that 8 times 7 is 56. I have my 2 zeros on the end of 700, which means I need to add my 2 zeros at the end of 56. So I have 5,600. 8 times 40, I know that 8 times 4 is 32, but I have a 0 in my ones place, which means I also need 0 in my one place here. So I have 320. And finally, 8 times 2 equals 16. So I have my area model completed, and I'm going to add everything up, starting with my first box. Okay, so here I have pulled everything out of my boxes, starting with my very first box, making sure that my place values are lined up, and now I'm ready to add. I'll add my ones place first. And then I'm going to add my tens, add my hundreds together, and finally add my thousands. So I know that 742 times 8 equals 5,936. So now that we have looked at multiplying 3-digit numbers by 1-digit numbers, we are going to now tackle 4-digit numbers by 1-digit numbers. So here I have 1,721 times 5. I've decomposed my 1,721 into my thousands, my hundreds, my tens, and my ones. So this is just like what we have been practicing today and what we practiced yesterday. We are going to multiply 5 times 1,000, which will be 5,000. 5 times 700, which will be 3,500. 5 times 20, which is 100, and 5 times 1, which is 5. So just like what we've been doing before, I am going to start with my very first box, and I am going to add all of these numbers together here. Okay, so here off to the side, I have started with my first box. I've lined up each place value, and I'm ready to add. Adding my ones together will give me 5. Adding my tens, my hundreds, and finally adding my thousands. So my total comes to 8,605. So my final product, the product of 1,721 times 5 equals 8,605. So let's try that one more time. With 1,436 times 4. I have decomposed 1,436 times 4. Okay, so now that I have my area model set up, I am ready to start multiplying. 4 times 1,000 is 4,000. Make sure we have our commas here. 4 times 400, 4 times 4 is 16. I have 2 zeros at the end, so I need to add 2 zeros at the end of my 16, making it 1,600. 4 times 30, once again, I know 4 times 3 equals 12. I have a 0 at the end, which means I need to add a 0 to the end of my 12, making it 120. And to finish off, 6 times 4 is 24. So I have my area model completed. Now I'm ready to start with the first box, line my numbers up, and I am ready to add. Okay, so here I have taken each box, starting with my first one. I have lined them all up. I'm ready to add. I'll add my ones place, which gives me 4. Adding my tens, which will also give me 4. Adding my hundreds together, 600 plus 100 equals 700. And finally adding my thousands. 4,000 plus 1,000 gives me 5,000. So my sum is 5,744. So the sum of all of the numbers in my boxes will give me my final product, 1,436 times 4 equals 5,744. So now we have looked at how to multiply 4-digit numbers by 1-digit numbers, and we have also looked at 3-digit numbers by 1-digit numbers. So to finish our lesson today, we are going to practice multiplying 2-digit numbers by 2-digit numbers. So we're going to use the same rules that we have been using throughout our lesson. We need to decompose both of these numbers. Since I have numbers and my ones and my tens, I need to decompose both. Meaning I have 2 extra boxes here. So I've decomposed my 73 into 70 and 3, my tens and my ones. And I also need to do the same thing with my 25. So I have my tens, I have 20. And in my ones place, I have a 5. So now I need to take both numbers that I am multiplying, match them up, and put the product in the correct box. So in this first box here, I am going to multiply 20 times 70. So I know that 2 times 7 equals 14. Now I am multiplying digits that are in the tens. So since I have 2 zeros here, I need to add those place values to my number. Meaning 20 times 70 equals 1,400. So now that I've multiplied 20 by 70, I need to multiply 5 by 70. I know that 5 times 7 equals 35. So I know 5 times 7 equals 35. But here I have my 0 that I need to add on. So 350. So I have multiplied both of my numbers by 70. Now it's time to move on to 3. So I need to multiply 20 times 3, which will give me 60. And now I'll multiply 5 times 3 and put it in my last box. 5 times 3 is 15. So now I have my area model completed, and I am ready to add up each of my values in each of my boxes here together. So I'm going to start with my first number, which has the greatest value. So I will start with 1,400. Okay, so here I have started with my first box, which gives me my highest number in value, and I'm looking for the second highest number in value, which is 350. And then I can add my 60 and my 15. So now I am ready to add all of these digits together. So I'm going to start with my ones place. Going to add my tens together. Reminding myself that now I need to add a 1 to my hundreds, which will give me 8. And then adding my thousands together, I have 1. So my sum is 1,825, which gives me my total product. The product of 73 times 25 equals 1,825. So we are going to practice on the next slide, multiplying another 2-digit number by 2-digit number. So taking a look at 37 times 64. I have decomposed both numbers. I have my 37 decomposed and my 64 decomposed. I have my area model drawn and ready to go. Now I am going to go ahead and fill out part of this model, and I want you to tell me which part is missing and what that value would be. Okay, so I have filled out 3 out of my 4 boxes of my area model, and I want you to take a minute to think about what would go inside of this box. So which number am I missing? Okay, so the number I am missing in this box would be the product of 4 times 30, which is 120. So I have all of the numbers inside of my area model. My area model is complete, which means I am ready to start adding up my numbers. On the next slide, you will be prompted to create a Flipgrid video. What I want you to do is at home, I want you to add up the numbers in the box, and I want you to walk me through the process of how you would find the end product of 37 times 64. So you will go to the next slide. You will record your Flipgrid video explaining to me what our next step is and what our final product is.